Yeah.
Alright class, today we're going to be going over a bowl demonstration. I'm going to go over this really quickly. There's 4 different types of bowls. You have a salad bowl, you have a rice bowl, a mixing bowl, and a display bowl. This will all be on the test, so you need to make sure you remember it. The distinguishing feature on a salad bowl is the long flange on it, or the long rim. You can see it's kind of like a mixing bowl, but it has a long rim. The reason we call it a salad bowl is because when you fill it up with salad, you have a 2-inch barrier that catches stuff. Also, when you set your tongs on it, with any other bowl, it would fall off. But this one, it can set down on the edge of it. The next bowl is a rice bowl. The distinguishing feature on a rice bowl is it looks like a V. Generally eat rice out of those because it's nice and deep. The next bowl is a mixing bowl. A mixing bowl looks like a U. These are any bowl you find in your house. 99% of them will be mixing bowls. The last bowl is a display bowl. You generally find these in really fancy restaurants, in Italian restaurants, and Asian restaurants. The reason that the distinguishing feature on a display bowl is that they're very shallow, just like many of you. But the reason that they make it shallow is it's used to display food because it looks like there's more food and you get to see what you're actually eating. There's 3 things that you need on every single bowl. You want it to be consistently thick. If the inside of your bowl looks different than the outside, that means that there's a section somewhere that you did not trim enough off. You need to have a continuous curve. On every bowl, when you look in, it should look like it should be round at the bottom. If it's flat at all, you did something wrong and you will need to start over. Your foot will need to be between just to make it easy, it needs to be around half the size of the rim. So if this rim is 12 inches, then the foot should be 6 inches or less. Can you imagine if the foot was like right here, a big old foot? It'd be kind of strange. So I'm going to teach you guys now how to throw on the wheel, so if you just want to come back and just keep recording. Hey class, because I'm recording this, I'm going to go a lot quicker than I normally do.
Okay. Nobody hit the pedal.
So the first bowl that I'm going to make is a mixing bowl. Mixing bowl, just like with cylinders, you follow the same steps. You get your hands wet. You bring your bowl. You bring your clay up into a cone. You center it down. You make your entry point, your entry hole. Now the only difference between a bowl and a cylinder is that it's obviously going to be wider. Oh, for this assignment, you want to make sure that every ball of clay is at least 2 pounds. It's at least 2 pounds. You have to make 3 bowls for this assignment, and you have to make 1 of each. If you don't want to make a display bowl, you don't have to, but you have to make 3 different types of bowls. And then the other requirement is it has to be the width of a potter's knife or wider. Also the other thing, you have to write what type of bowl it is on the bottom. So just to recap, the bowl has to be this wide or wider. You have to put what type of bowl it is on the bottom. You have to make 3 different types of bowls, and you want to start with at least 2 pounds of clay or more. You can make these bowls as large as you want. If you want to make a big old bowl to baptize your son someday, I'm joking. But you can make them as big as you want, all right? So one of the most important things with bowls is you're not going to spend a ton of time on them. The longer you waste on bowls, the longer you can make mistakes. So generally I make bowls fairly quickly. So I'm just just gonna pull this puppy up. Most of the time with demonstrations they go a little bit slower, but for the sake of recording, I know you guys don't want to watch me for 30 minutes, so. Okay, so my bowl is obviously going to be wider than this, but I like to make it a little bit taller because it holds its shape better. If you try to pull a bowl and you try to pull a bowl like this, you're really going to struggle. What you want to do is you want to pull a bowl like a V shape almost, and then you use your, what's this called?
Metal rib.
Metal rib, very good. You're going to use your metal rib to shape it. If you don't use your metal rib on this assignment, you're going to struggle big time. This is hard to use, but it's something that you have to learn how to do if you're going to get good at ceramics. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape off the slip on the outside of my bowl. This does two things. It compresses the molecules so the pot's stronger. It holds its shape better, but it also dries off the pot so it doesn't keep sucking in moisture. So I'm going to start at the top, and then I'm going to very slowly come down. With bowls, there's also the way that you take bowls off is very important. You don't take a bowl off like you do a cylinder. Gerardo, do you want to demonstrate how to take a bowl? Take off a bowl? You want to record them?
No, let's see the bowl right here.
Yep, take that bucket. Do it with the bucket. Okay.
Like that. Not like this.
You grab it like that. See, look where his hands are. If you can get closer, see where his hands are? His hands are not touching even the top half of it. They're touching just the very bottom of it. The reason why you do that is because you would ruin the rim would collapse because it's really thin and it's wet. So this bowl, if you want to go over the rim, now the whole bowl is dry except for the rim. The reason I do that is because that's the part I'm going to be touching. So I'll grab the rim, I'll push down just very lightly with a sponge, and then, so that made it pretty smooth, but if you want to make it really smooth, take a piece of plastic, go over the rim of it. Okay, so that is the first bowl. What type of bowl is that? Mixing bowl. You guys are awesome. I'm glad you guys pay attention. You guys make me so proud. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, for sake of time, I normally would wash off my hands in the sink, try to get as clean as I can. For the sake of video. And make sure when you dry off your towel, try to keep your towel as clean as you can, but don't get both sides dirty because you're just going to get yourself dirty. Make sure you're always using the outside as the outside and the inside as the inside. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my wire right here. This is how you take off a bowl. You want to do it very quickly. You pull it nice and tight, slide it under, drop it, grab it from the very bottom, and then transfer it to wherever you want. Now, this clay, now if you can look, the only part my hand actually touches the bottom here. If I touched any part of the top half, the whole rim would have gone in. So, yep. The next one I'm going to make is a salad bowl. And that's probably all I'll have. It's probably all I'll have you record because you get the general gist of it. Get my hands wet.
little sample of it. You know what? You can be. Just believe in yourself.
Here's another way to make an entry hole tool if you want to watch. Instead of making a hole this way, you can take your hand, you can just drop it in. You can do it that way too. Compress the rim. So this is going to be a salad bowl. So what distinguishing feature does a salad bowl have?
Big flange.
Big flange, where it curves over. One of the reasons display bowls are the hardest to make is because they,
Don't come up very high.
you have to use a lot of clay, and getting a nice gentle curve the whole way through, it's a lot more difficult than it looks. These bowls, if you don't get the curve quite right, or it goes in just a little bit, you don't notice, but on a flat surface or an almost flat surface, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So this is going to be my salad bowl. So just like any other bowl, I'm going to go through, I'm going to scrape off all the slip, and then I'm going to go through, get off all the slip on the inside. Once I have off all the slip, then I'm going to go through, get my shape. So a salad bowl you make just like you would a mixing bowl. The only difference is at the end you lay the rim over. Okay. So I have a mixing bowl shape, something close to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rim wet because I'm going to be touching the rim. I'm also going to get right underneath the rim really, really wet, as well as my finger. The reason why is the clay is going to be sliding on that hand, and if it's dry at all, it's going to grab and it'll rip off that section. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my metal rib, I'm going to push down right on the rim, fold that over. Okay. And I'm going to go through and make sure I have the shape that I want on the inside. I like making bowls. I can make bowls all day long. What's nice about bowls too is out of all the projects you make in ceramics, it's probably the one that you'll use the most. Use it for ice cream or cereal, or putting your wallet or your keys in or whatever. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the rim. And if you want to make it really smooth, you can take a thin piece of plastic. If you don't have any, you can ask me. I'll give you some in class. I'm just going to lay that over the rim, and that'll make it really, really nice and smooth. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me in class. Thanks for watching.